Hello and welcome to the 29th episode of the Queen Bee Book Club podcast. I'm Audrey.
And I'm Cher. I think you meant 39th.
No.
39th?
39th.
Not 29th.
It's the 39th? 29th
Yeah.
Seems low.
29th is too low. 100% positive.
39th is the 39th episode of the Queen Bee Book Club podcast.
And I'm Cher.
And we are your... I mean, it's better than, like, when some podcasts just, like, are completely wrong. I had the last number right.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like, I have no clue really where we are, but I knew we're not at 29. It's got to be higher.
Yeah, this makes it fun. It's what we're all here for.
Yeah. We're just doing this for Jess to keep her on our toes.
Absolutely. Like, episode 29, like, TBT, like, we would have been recording together.
I know.
Like,
I miss it so much.
Probably in your living room, in Tyson's corner.
I know. What a time.
Hungry for Cheesecake Factory.
Hungry for Cheesecake Factory, or that one time that we baked that, like, Brussels sprout mac and cheese.
You baked it. I watched.
Well, you took a boomerang at me, which was the most domestic and great I've ever looked.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, get yourself a girl who can do it all, so.
So it is Labor Day.
It is Labor Day.
Long weekend. You spent Labor Day weekend in, like, the most, I feel like, Labor Day location of them all, which is Nantucket.
Yes. I went to Nantucket with our good friends Matt and Nora.
Mm-hmm.
Nantucket is everything I dreamed it would be. Like, it's... Like, everyone... Like, it's, like... Nantucket's, like, not snobby, but, like, everything is just nice.
That's
like,
cool.
All of the shopping is nice. All of the food is nice. Like, all of the people are nice.
Mm-hmm.
The views are nice. The beaches are, like, the most... Like, there's hardly anybody there. Like, it just feels like it's a private beach just for you that you drove up in your Jeep Wrangler to just enjoy. Yeah, and, like, of course, Matt and Nora are the hostesses of the century.
They truly are.
I mean, yeah, the first time we got there, they cooked, like, a full dinner for, like, 15 people. I'm like, okay, you guys, stop making me feel like I don't know how to host at all, which I don't.
What's lovely about Matt and Nora, though, is that they do that, but, like, if you have them over at your house, they're, like, the perfect guest in that they're, like, literally, like, feed us chicken nuggets. We don't care.
Totally.
Like, they don't, like, they're so happy to, like, use their wedding china for you, but then they're just, like, very non-judgmental if you have them over at your house.
Yeah, no, they're the best. But yeah, we went to the beach. We went to this, like, brewery place.
That's great.
We went to this, like, fancy dinner.
That frozen drink that I saw both you and Nora post about on Instagram looked delicious.
Oh my god. Both me and Nora drank about, like, I think I drank maybe, like, 1/4 of it and was like, I'm too drunk. Like, and I had to throw it away. So, yeah, I had a lot of rosé-esque drinks that week. But yeah, highly recommend Nantucket. It was a nice break. I already feel like after 1 week of law school, I deserve that vacation. So
I need to check out those New England beaches.
Well, let me tell you that I went to Cape Cod for my senior week, and I thought it was disgusting. But it was a different part.
Like Ocean City?
No. Like, not quite like Ocean City. Like, it just felt like... I don't know. I think part of it was, like, you were staying in a house with, like, 9 girls.
Blech.
And so, like, of course, like, we weren't staying in, like, the nicest of houses. It was, like, some weird guy who owned a house to, like, just be, like, a rental. So it's, like, kind of trashed all the time. And, like, the weather, like, wasn't great because I think it was, like, May, which is, like, a little bit hit or miss. So I just had, like, kind of, like, not the best experience. It was kind of like, these beaches suck. Like, I'm from California and this is nothing, whatever. But Nantucket was not like that. So.
Well, it's great.
Yeah. Yep. So that was my Labor Day weekend. What'd you do?
For most of it, just kind of lounging, doing some first day of school prep.
Oh, yeah, it's tomorrow, right?
Yeah, which is like crazy. I keep having anxiety dreams about it, and I just feel like
it's gonna be fine.
I just feel like my plans are kind of constantly in the back of my head. So it's not that like I'm not prepared. Like I'm definitely prepared for the first day of school, I think. But it's just like there's that X factor of like I have the plans and like let's see how they actually go.
I mean, I think that undoubtedly things are not going to go exactly to plan, but I think also you can handle it.
Yeah.
You're adaptable.
Exactly.
You're creative. You're likable.
I
just think that these teenage monsters are going to want you to love them, and they're going to want to copy your style.
I hope so.
And
I've been thinking a lot and reading like man repeller articles because I get in these moods every now and again where I like really want to think about my style in terms of like getting dressed like more thoughtfully than I feel like I do.
God,
in the sense of like my style as opposed to just like I'm putting clothes on. And that's how I want to be for a little while with school. It's like getting dressed like with style in mind as opposed to like just like I'm going to wear this.
See, I think that you can, like, more than anyone I know, like, dress with a story in mind. I don't know. Like, I feel like for me, I get, like, very much into a clothing rut. Like, right now, it's like I wear, like, a black tank top and jeans most days, which is fine. And frankly, like, for law school, I mean, I don't think that, like, being my edgiest self would be, like, the best move at this point in time. Like, it's pretty, like, I feel like I have to dress like I would dress at work on a casual Friday at school.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's, like, pretty much what I do. But I have to go to a formal, like, networking event on Thursday. And I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to wear to that because...
You should wear your cool red,
My red suit is at home. I left it at my parents' house. Yeah. No, I don't have it. I have a black suit that I could wear, which seems like, you know, pretty basic. But I don't know. I guess the question is always, like, do I go for the suit or do I, like, pantsuit, or do I go for the skirt suit? Or do I go for a dress? And I think, honestly, like, one of the suit options is probably the safest.
I don't love a skirt suit, I'll be honest. I like a pantsuit. I think those can be fun. But I also, like, very much resent the idea that, like, you have to look, like, semi-masculine in order to look professional. I think sometimes, like, I really like blazers. Like, I like that look, like, mixing masculine and feminine, I think is very fun and cool. But, yeah, there's something about the skirt suit that I just don't jive with. I think, like, skirts and, like, a blazer are good, but, like, the whole suit thing
like
is
matching. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually don't think I have any, like, specifically matching skirt suits here. I do own some, but not here. And, like, I own some mostly, like, that were hand-me-downs from my grandmother. Like, I didn't purchase them, but, yeah, so I don't know. I'm gonna have to try to figure that out, I guess, for Friday. Oh, I misinvolved over here. I entered the negotiations competition for my law school, which along with half of my class. So that's on Wednesday, my first round.
Cool.
So I think I also have to dress up for that.
I feel like there's a lot of, like, professional dress moments at law school.
There are, but I sort of feel like maybe I just don't own that many professional clothes because I didn't really wear, like, strict professional dress in a publishing house.
Yeah. It was, like, more like business casual.
Yeah. I mean, like, I could definitely get away with, like, black jeans and a blazer most days.
Yeah. Yeah, which I feel like that's where most workplaces are, whereas I feel like lawyers are a lot more conservative in terms of their fashion choices.
Yeah. So, I'll keep you posted. I'll probably wear something, like, pretty boring. But, like, at this point, I think that's probably how I should play it.
Yeah, play it safe.
Play it safe. I mean, honestly, too, like, I mean, in the prosecutor's office, like, of all the prosecutors I saw, like, they all played it real safe. Like, if I was a public defender, it seems like I could wear literally whatever the fuck I wanted. But as a prosecutor, it seems like I need to rein it in. Like, maybe I could wear a fun shoe or something, but, like, definitely, like, I should not be, like, wearing a patterned suit or something. And by pattern, I mean, that I would like, not like a, like, I couldn't wear, like, a flamingo suit or something.
I don't know that I would thrive in that environment.
You probably wouldn't. No. I don't mind it. I mean, like, I don't mind a French twist and, like, a wide-legged pant, but I don't know. It also takes a little bit of the pressure out of, like, dressing cute.
Yeah, that's true.
Because there's just a limited option.
Yeah.
I, like, have pretty much had no life besides going to Nantucket, though. Like, I had no idea that I'd be studying, like, honestly, like, probably 14 to 15 hours a day.
Yeah.
Which, like, I was like, wait. I thought this would be less than work. Because I feel like grad school was less than work.
Oh, it was 100% less.
And I did all the reading. I mean, it wasn't like I was slacking off, but I just think, like, I mean, if I had, like, a 20-page paper to write, maybe I would spend 10 hours a day on it.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So, I'm not a big fan of contracts. Contract law, it's not my jam. But,
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just really interesting, too, like, how much reading each professor assigns. Like, our torts professor, like, assigns about 10 pages of reading, which, like, takes a solid, like, probably 2 hours, but, like, that seems, like, kind of reasonable. Whereas, like, contracts assigns 40 pages a night, which takes probably 6 hours. Yeah. So, like, I guess I'm just gonna get used to having literally no life or friends or, you know, fun.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of, like, what I've generally heard about law school is, like, it's a real life suck.
Well, some people were talking, like, we would hear people talking and be like, oh, yeah, like, I would never, like, be working past 8 p.m. And I'm like, are you effing kidding me? Like, I never am done by 10.
Yeah.
So I don't know what those people are doing. Maybe they take Adderall or something. Like, maybe performance-enhancing drugs.
Maybe. Or maybe, you know, it's like the beginning, and so I feel like in the beginning when you're doing stuff, everything takes a lot longer, and then you, like, develop a rhythm, you develop, like, what you need and what, like...
Yeah.
I don't know, because it's a totally new field, kind of, like, especially, like, new field of reading, so it's, like, you kind of figure out what you need, what you don't need, what works and what doesn't, and...
Yeah.
Develop a system. Like, I mean, right now, like, I'm kind of going through that in a similar way where it's like everything that I do takes so much longer than it really needs to, because it's like I do everything really slowly and I have to do things over again, and like, so it's like once I feel like I develop a rhythm, things will start moving a lot faster.
Yeah. Well, do you want to talk about the book?
Sure. It was darkness in this last half of Valley of the Dolls. Everyone keeps saying, like, what a fun book. Like, it's such a fun read. I was like, I don't know that I felt like this was fun.
No, it's...
I was like, it was kind of a hard bummer.
Yeah, I felt like... This book, to me, feels like it's, like, on the outside, it's, like, a pink hard candy, and then when you bite into it, it's tar. On the inside.
It's a sour apple.
It's black and it's dark and it's like disgusting and it's not what you expected.
No, not like it was not like a bucket of laughs, I'll tell you that.
No. Well, and I just think I think like you sort of felt like I guess it sort of reminds me a little bit of Great Gatsby except it's darker. Maybe. Where it's like, on the one hand, it's like, it's decadent, and it's fun, and it's parties, and it's, you know, rich people. But then on the other hand, it's like, no one is happy, and everybody is fucked up, and, like, there are these, like, weird relationships that are not at all healthy or happy or anything that you would actually want.
Right. Yeah. Where, like, and I feel like the first half is very idealistic, where it's like the folly of being in your 20s, which I feel like is so forgivable and, like, charming in a way.
Yeah.
Of, like, yeah, it's, like, hard when you're 22 and, you know, you're trying to make it work, but, like, there's also, like, a lot of, like, shooting to the top, like with Neely. Like, Neely went from, like, my favorite to my least favorite.
She's a bitch in this section.
Like, get out of here, Neely. Like, who do you think you are, Helen Larson? Like, get out.
Well, and, like, honestly, like, Helen Lawson, like, I feel worse for Helen Lawson than I do for Neely.
Yeah, because she's alone.
She's alone and she, like, is bald.
Yeah.
Like, that scene where Neely steals Helen Lawson's wig in the bathroom
That's mean.
and flushes it down the toilet is pure mean. And it like, so honestly mean. Made me think, too. I'm like, did Helen Lawson have cancer? Like, what if Helen Lawson had
like,
cancer?
What was going on?
I think she said, like, something ruined her hair, and so it was, like, really thin or something, but I'm like, do we know that to be true? Like, I just feel like if somebody's bald...
Does she have alopecia?
I mean, she
what's
might.
going on?
Like, I just think, like, the first move isn't to be like, haha, you're bald, like, and then flush her wig down the toilet. It's like, whoa.
Especially when you're in your 30s. It's like, maybe you would do that as a 6-year-old, but, like, that's not acceptable.
No, it's mean.
It is mean. Yeah. Jennifer, like, with her, like, the bell jar vibes.
Wait, Jennifer or Neely?
Jennifer. Oh, well, I guess Neely had more of the bell jar vibes. I messed that up. But still, I mean, like, Jennifer, it's like, obviously I'm not going to criticize someone for committing suicide because that's horrible. But also, it's like, and we should probably more be criticizing the world in which she lived, where she was driven to the point where she felt like the only reason she had any value is because of her boobs.
Yeah.
But it's like, dude, please don't end your life because you might have to get a mastectomy. I mean, is breast reconstruction surgery, like, was that not a thing in the 40s, 50s?
I mean, I think that it probably was not at all to the level that it is now.
Certainly.
Well, because the thing, too, is, like, I mean, they could probably get it to look, like, normal under clothes, but out, like, you know, out in the open, like, usually, like, they have to remove your nipple, and so they have to, like, put the nipple back on, and so, like, that's pretty delicate, and then, I don't know, like, I was watching this whole, like, New York Times documentary about this tattoo artist who, like, exclusively tattoos nipples on to, like, make them look real for, like, women after mastectomies. So, like, I'm sure they didn't have that technology. No. So, I mean, in fairness to Jennifer, like, I think it's, like, especially when that's what her career has, like, legitimately been based off of, is her body. And she's going to potentially lose that. And the person who supposedly loves her, like, essentially reveals that the only reason he does love her is because of her body.
Yeah.
Although,
which is a pretty heartbreaking moment. But I feel like she never gives him the opportunity to say, that's not why I really love you.
Because she doesn't tell him. And I think, like, the way that he reacts after she dies shows that, like, that likely wasn't true.
Right.
So, I mean, I don't know. Like, I finished... So, at the end of the day, your least favorite was Neely. My favorite was Jennifer. Of the three.
Yeah, I mean, I guess just because it's like, who am I going to pick? Anne? No.
Well, I also... Like, the thing about Jennifer is that Jennifer was never mean.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, Jennifer...
She was just, like, extraordinarily misguided. But, like, was Anne ever mean?
Anne was never mean, but Anne was definitely misguided. Like, I think that Anne putting Neely in the sanitarium is, like, pretty fucked up.
Well, but, like, she was going to let her do the sleep therapy, and then they were like, no, that's not what she needs. So, like, that to me, I thought, like, they'd been telling Neely, like, she needed significant help for a long time. I mean, I think she should have told her, hey, this is what's going to happen. But I think that she at least thought she was acting in the interest of her friend.
I think that's probably true, but I just also just sort of think that, like, Anne is very easily swayed and convinced by people. And I think that, like...
But I think Neely did legitimately need that help.
I think she probably did too, but I also just don't. I mean, I like, the mental institutions of the 40s are, like, not exactly a model of, like, great.
No, that's true.
But, like, the other thing too is, like, if I were Neely, I would be pissed at Anne. So, like, the like, whole, like, way that their friendship sort of ends does make sense to me based on, like, that experience. Whereas I think Anne doesn't think she's done anything wrong, or, like, why would Neely ever betray her like this? But to Neely, Neely's like, fuck you. Like, you, like, sent me away for 2 years and paid for it. And, like, wouldn't let me out. So, I don't know. But, like, Jennifer... I don't know. Jennifer's never, like, she's... I don't know. Like, I feel like Jennifer's just, like, always, like, trying to figure it out, kind of.
Yeah.
And, like, striving towards something, whereas I think Anne is always, like, striving towards the thing that got away. And, like, I don't know. Like, the whole, like, Lion-Burke relationship is so unsatisfying to me, and I just wish that Anne could, like, get over it and find somebody else.
Well, and especially because it's so long. Like, he's gone for so long.
He's gone for, like, 10 years.
And she's still, like... I understand kind of, like, wanting to feel like... to see what it would feel like to be back together, or, like, especially because you've been, like, fantasizing and it, like, ended in such a way that you didn't get closure. But it's also, like... How are you so sure that you are so in love with him at this point? Like, it's just, like, bleh. Well, it's such a bummer. And I think I was, like, trying to cling to, like, any semblance of, like, romance or, like, good. And so I was like, oh, Leon's back. Like, this seems great. Like, and, like, he's definitely seems better than this other bore that she's been dating.
Yeah. Kevin.
Who's, like... Because I think what's hard about Anne, too, is she consistently gets involved in these relationships with men that she, like, genuinely doesn't give a shit about. And she's just like, yeah, they're, like, good guys, and I guess, like, they're okay to spend some time with. But I think that's, like, kind of despicable to spend your, like, to have these, like, prolonged relationships with people who you know... really love and care about you, but then you're just kind of like, whatever.
Well, I just, like, I think she uses people. Like, I don't think that she would acknowledge it that way, but I mean, like, ultimately, like, Alan got her, like, a lot of attention and, like, sort of got her to the level that she was able to, like, move up, kind of, in the stratosphere in terms of social class, and then Kevin, like, got, like, he basically, like, gave her an opportunity to have this huge career. And, like, so she just, like, sort of stays with them, not because she likes them or because she's, like, particularly interested, but just basically she's like, well, like, there's nobody else in the wings that I like better, so, like, might as well hang around. And, like, she sort of is like, oh, like, I wish I liked them, but, like, that's not really fair to them to, like, stick around when... I mean, maybe they deserve... I mean, honestly, the other thing about the guys, though, is they all suck. So it's sort of like, you know... Yeah. I don't feel all that much sympathy for Kevin or Alan, but...
No, Kevin's gross.
Alan's also gross.
Yeah. I mean, both of them... I mean, like, I feel like this book basically says, like, look, everyone sucks. There's no way... Like, and it just shows you these, like, shiny 20-year-old girls who, like, moved to New York with nothing but dreams. And it just shows how, like... they just get the shit kicked out of them and die.
Well, it also, like, was not surprising to me at all that Jennifer was going to be the one who dies. I mean, that was, like, I mean, that's just, you know, literature 101.
Yeah. The body, dead.
Well, and just also, like, the woman who acts promiscuously without consequence or care. Or shame will ultimately die. I mean...
Well, and I think this also is meant to be a rebuke of, like, how particularly, I mean, still, but particularly then, like, when women are only valued for their looks and, like, what that does to a person.
Well, they only have value till they turn, like, 30, pretty much. I mean, like, they just have such a short lifespan, whereas somebody like Leon can show up, 10 years later and still be as hot as could be.
Mm-hmm. Be hooking up with, like, 25-year-olds.
Or 19-year-olds.
Yeah, gross.
I know.
Well, and then, like, I just think it's, like, truly, like, despicable, too, that he would be like, Anne, like, I love you, like, you're the best. And then just, like, immediately start cheating on her.
Well...
With Neely.
Yeah, I mean, that whole thing was a pretty big shock to me.
That made me, like, sick to my stomach.
Yeah, me too. Well, so, I mean, but there's a point in between that, which is when he finds out that Anne basically purchased the company for him. And, he basically can't stand for that because she's made him feel like less of a man, so he's gonna get her back.
Which, like, get over yourself. I mean, I know that this is a period piece, and, like...
It's probably accurate.
Oh, my God.
I know. I mean, the thing about Anne that I like is that she, like, shows a picture of a woman who basically, like, works really hard. Like, she's not...
Yeah.
Like, and Anne's, like, incredibly beautiful, and, like, that's, like, maybe special about her. But, like, honestly, like, the thing that is most special about her is that she just is hardworking. And so...
Mm-hmm. And she's not frivolous. Like, she's, like, she puts the money away and saves it up.
She invests her money super well. And so she ends up with, like, millions of dollars. And it's not because, she's making, like, millions of dollars every ad. It's because she's, like, has Henry to help her invest it. And, like, by the end of the day, she's like, yeah, I'm doing great. And,
well, at first she has no interest in the little dolls. But then at the end, you see, like, she's going to fall into the same trap in the same valley.
I know.
And start taking the sleeping pills, too. Or, like, she's already started.
I mean, I do think that Anne has the best shot of the three in terms of, like, I think, like, Henry's been taking the dolls for the past 20 years. And, like, he's fine. So, like, maybe he'll be fine. Henry. The one good man in New York.
I love him.
But I think, like, Anne at least has a daughter. I mean, Neely literally could not give any less of a shit about her kids. Which is, like, the most upsetting, like, weird thing.
When Anne has to take their baby to the hospital, and Neely's like, who cares? Like, babies get fevers. Like, I'm not telling Leon about that.
Yeah, well, but also, like, Neely, like, doesn't fight for custody of her children. Like, she basically just gives them to her husband. She's like, yeah, well, he'll do a fine job. Like, whatever. Or her ex-husband.
Well, it's remarkable to see or to trace, like, the change in Neely. Because she starts off as, like, so
plucky,
kind and collaborative and plucky. And she, like... is really, like, she cares about the art and the work and cares about the guy that she's with and, like, all that stuff. And then it's, like, you just see how the, like, fame machine that she's put into 100% corrupts her. Yeah. Well, and it's, like, you can't tell a 19-year-old, you're amazing, you're amazing, you're amazing, you're amazing, you're the best, you're a star, you're a complete star, like, without them starting to be like, yeah, I am a star, and I need to, like, therefore get, like, a lot out of this.
Well, but I think the other thing for Neely is that, like, she has literally no support or, like, consistent anything either. So, like, she ends up going off the rails, like, all the damn time, and she just is in this cycle of, like, going off the rails and getting back on the rails and, like, getting fat and losing weight and, like...
Well, because the only people that she has around her are the people that make money off of her career. Right. So as long as she's making them money, they don't care. Which I feel like that's something that still goes... Like, I remember I listened to the Awards Chatter podcast, and Mary J. Blige was a guest, and she was talking about when she was dealing with alcoholism, she, like... And it was kind of during the height of her singing career, and it was really, like, everyone that was close around her, she was paying.
Right.
And so like she was doing really well, and so nobody was like saying, Mary, like, you need to stop drinking so much because this is not good for you. It was basically like, hey, she's winning Grammys, she's, selling out tours, like, don't rock the boat. And she was like, I needed someone to tell me that I had a problem, and I didn't have anyone who was willing to do that.
Yeah, Neely kind of actually a little bit reminds me of Lindsay Lohan, like her trajectory.
Yes.
Because,
poor Lindsay.
God bless her. Although she's now opened that hotel in Greece or whatever.
Yeah, in Mykonos. So it's like, all right.
But like from literally childhood, she's been told like you're this great talent, and she is. But then, she like lives fast and gets into drugs, gets into alcohol. All of a sudden, it's like, whoa, Lindsay, you look 45 years old, and you're 20. What happened, girl?
Yeah, and it's just like nobody being there to make sure that, like, you're okay. Because I think also at that time they were just churning out movies with her in it. And I'm sure, it was like there was no one there to, like, help her process that new fame.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Neely's kind of she's like a little bit of a sad character because, like, she is lovable in the beginning and then she just is so awful.
Yeah. And it's like, it's hard to really have a ton of empathy for really any of those characters. And it's like you have empathy, but you do, but then at the same time, it's like you just want to be like, you want to like shake them and be like, this is not your value. Like, this is not.
Like, with Jennifer, like, I sort of felt like her life was a little bit, like, her trajectory was a little bit more explainable, just, like, generally based on, like, her backstory. Like, she basically, like, went from, like, a pretty abusive family to, like, a pretty abusive relationship to another pretty abusive relationship. And so, like, her self-value, like, I mean, she doesn't really have any, and it's not really surprising. And so, like, Jennifer, like, does what she's told, and she, like, gets pretty far, because she's just, like, the hottest thing around, but, like, she's never had anybody stable. Like, she's never had a stable, healthy relationship in her life, ever.
No.
And then Neely, though, like, Neely seemed to have this, like, I have a can-do attitude, and, like, I'm gonna work hard, and I'm gonna pull myself up on my bootstraps, and I'm gonna do great, and I'm not a real beauty, but that's okay, because I got talent, and I'm gonna try hard.
Yeah, and I don't care about being a star, I just want to perform.
Yeah. But then, like, I don't know, the machine gets her.
Yeah, it's hard. Well, and I also think, like, Anne could have easily been a better friend to both Jennifer and Neely, but she's so judgmental that she, like, wasn't, and, like, they're so different from her and how she would do things that, like, I feel like she wasn't fully able to, like, be a really good friend to them, because it was always kind of tinged with that, like, these sluts, like.
Well, and actually I would say this is maybe one of Anne's better qualities, and, like, why I tend to, like, have a little bit of respect for Anne is like a little bit selfish. And, like, she does sort of say, like, listen, like, I'm not, going to take care of Neely tonight for the 900th time, because, like, I have stuff to do for my own job, and, like, I'm not just, like, throwing away everything for myself just because Neely can't get it together. And, like, to be honest, like, I mean, I respect that.
Well, especially, I mean, in your late 30s, I feel like it's even more respectable to take that position where it's like, if you really can't get it together in your late 30s, or, like, you've made the same mistake 100 times and I've been there for you 98 of those times, it's like there are some times where maybe you need to fall on your face, because that's how you'll learn, like, you need help and this can't go on.
Well, and I think Anne, when push came to shove, I mean, if she could plan it into her schedule, she would be there. She visited Neely every friggin' week in rehab for 2 years. So, I mean, and, like, literally planned vacations around being able to see her. So, I mean, I think Anne was a good friend to them, but I also think Anne...
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
...couldn't have... Like, she couldn't understand them because she was so controlled, and, like, both of the other girls were so out of control.
Yeah. And so even though, like, that life of, like, hyper control was not what she wanted, like, she couldn't ultimately break out of the, like, the box, I guess, that she was kind of placed in.
Who? Anne?
Anne.
Yeah. Well, I think actually, like, Anne sort of wanted a little bit what Jennifer and Neely had, which was just, like, passion and, like, drama and excitement. And, like, she just, like, kind of didn't really ever have that except for with Leon. And then, like...
Yeah. Well, I don't think she opened herself up to the possibility that she could have that then with anyone else. Because I think it was, like... It happened first with Leon, and then she was like, well, obviously, it's never going to happen again. Like, that kind of feeling doesn't just happen. And it's like, well, maybe it's just not happening with Kevin.
Well, yeah, well, that's what would happen, though.
And you need to give it a shot with someone else.
She just would tie herself down to people, so, like, she wasn't available. So how is she ever supposed to meet other people?
Yeah, and it's like, well, this is easy enough and, like, fairly convenient because he's my boss. It's like, no.
Right. And yeah. But I do like that Anne, like, with her boyfriend sort of, like, sets boundaries of, like, I would like to continue to work, please. Like, you know, until there's a reason for me not to be working, I would like to work. And, like, even though I could afford to not
and
work,
it has nothing to do with money. No. Yeah, it's 100% like, I enjoy working.
Anne enjoys something to do.
Yeah. She wants to feel useful.
Yeah. I don't know. It just... I did take a couple of notes about this, but I don't even remember any of them. Oh, I hate when Anne starts sending Leon's books, like, as gifts to everybody she knows.
Yeah.
Like, girl, what are you
not
doing?
Even together? Also, can you imagine being one of Anne's friends and just being like, it would be the saddest gift to receive. It's like, here's one of Leon's books. It's like, girlfriend, you guys are not even together. Like, why are you giving me this? As your friend, I will not read it. Like...
This is my ex-boyfriend who moved to London for literally no reason.
If I were dating a novelist and he dumped me the way that Leon did, I would hope that you would be out there actively disparaging
I would be
him.
writing Amazon reviews up the wazoo.
Exactly. Like, that's not
Goodreads, like, this guy's shit. I hope you...
You can't write.
You never,
you
ever
can't treat people
novelist.
well.
Oh my god, what a nightmare.
No, it sounds terrible.
You're going to be a novelist yourself. You don't need to date one.
I hope so.
Male novelists, though, like, I just think it's just, like, a breed. And it's the kind you don't want to date.
No, it's a thumbs down.
Self-centered.
It's a swipe to the left.
Major swipe to the left. I mean, there are probably, like, a few. I'm trying to think of maybe one I might be interested in. Like,
I think male novelists are just, like, generally, like, pretty into their own thoughts, obviously. Yeah. And, like, they talk, or, like, they present them in a way like, aren't you so glad that I'm saying this to you right now?
Let me impart all of my wisdom on you, because I know better. And you have not lived like me. You don't know my pain.
It's like, huh.
Yeah. I'm trying.
That's how I sometimes feel about the Pod Save America guys.
Oh, whenever
I listen to
one of those guys went to Holy Cross. He was my commencement speaker. Yeah, John Favreau.
Oh yeah, okay. He in particular.
Yeah, I didn't like him when he did my commencement speech either. I was like, you are very smug. His speech was like...
Yeah, there's like an arrogance about them that I'm just like, I can't get on board with you. Like, I feel like they're feminist on paper, but then they're the guys that are like, we're feminists, and then they look around and like don't understand why there are no women around them, and they don't ask
like
why.
The bros.
They're Obama bros.
Well, yeah. So he was one of Obama's speechwriters, and like, so I graduated in 2014, so this was kind of, I think, before Pod Save America was a thing. But he was basically like, yeah, you know, like, I just got really lucky. Like, it was like the least inspiring speech, because it was like, I mean, reading between the lines, it's like, I'm a privileged white guy and I got these opportunities and so I'm really lucky. So it's not sort of like, put your nose to the grindstone. Like, anybody can do this.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, no, like, you got the opportunity because of who you are. And, like...
Yeah. Yeah, it's not like in my commencement address, it was Chris Matthews, and he was like, show up! He
also went to Holy Cross.
He's like, listen, I never would have met my wife if I didn't go to that party I didn't want to go to. I was like, okay. You gotta show up, ladies and gentlemen. We were like, okay.
I mean, at least a better message.
It was, yeah, I mean, frankly, like, it was a better speech than I had expected from him. And also, it was very windy that day, and his little hat fell off, and it was super funny. And he had to, like, kind of chase after it. So I enjoyed that part.
That sounds pretty fun.
But yeah, he was better than, even my dad was like, I was really dreading his speech, but it was pretty good. So.
It was definitely better than our graduate school commencement speaker.
Oh my God. That was like spoken word poetry that I did not sign up to see.
No, 100%. I'm trying to think of a male novelist that I would date. Like, definitely not George R.R. Martin.
Maybe Kevin Kwan. No, you know who I would date is Andre Aciman.
Yes, yeah.
Who wrote Call Me By Your Name. He's a middle-aged man, but I think you would have a beautiful relationship with him.
Well, because he clearly just, like, he's, like, wrote one of the most beautiful books, literally, of all time. And he's like, I don't care that people, pirate this.
it.
Like, it's a book, whatever. It's like, you don't even know.
He had the most refreshing worldview. Just of, like, and people asking him, like, hey, did you get upset that they, like, changed your book at the end? And he was like, no. He's like, at first I didn't understand, but then, I saw it, and I was, like, kind of mad because it's maybe a better ending than I wrote, and, like, Timothy is so talented, and, like, just, like, why do you work yourself up about that? So no.
Yeah, no, for sure. He's dateable.
He's a delight.
I mean, Dave.
Oh, we've read so few male authors. I feel like we could do like a fuck, marry, kill.
Okay, so we've got
Oscar Wilde,
Kevin Kwan,
yeah, Andre Aciman. That's it. I think Henry James, Oscar Wilde, Andre Aciman, and Kevin Kwan, I think, are the only male writers we've read.
Is that true? I mean, it's probably true.
I'm looking at all of my books right now. Like, they're, like, right in front of me, and I'm not
that could be true.
I think that's right.
Well, okay, so... Fuck, marry, kill.
They're all old or dead.
It doesn't matter. I probably would marry Oscar Wilde because I just feel like it would be a fun time. Like,
yeah.
I mean, I guess it's between, like, Oscar Wilde and Andre Aciman.
Yeah, it's like my dilemma is that, like, I feel like he's the one I would really want to be married
Which
to.
one?
Well, and, like, my understanding, Andre Aciman, and my understanding of, like, fuck, marry, kill has always been, like, hey, you're married to them? Like, you get to fuck them as many times as you want.
I think that's a loophole. So, like, my understanding of it has been...
It doesn't mean, like, you live, like, a sexless existence, though, is what I'm saying.
But I think, like, fuck, marry, kill, like...
It's companionship,
I would
too.
say, like...
It's sex with companionship.
But, like, I would... like, highlight more of the... let's add a fourth category since we have 4 authors. So they're fuck, marry, kill, and best friend.
Oh, that's harder. So, Andre Aciman's not except for kill. He's in every category.
So I would marry Andre Aciman. I would be best friends with Oscar Wilde because, like, fun.
Yes,
just fun.
Yes, true. And also, like, I don't know that he's that interested in us.
He's definitely not interested at all in us. Is Andre Aciman straight?
He's married to a woman. Right.
So maybe.
But, and I make that specification because he said that he believes that everyone is sexually fluid and that he doesn't believe in those kind of demarcations. And, like, what, and to the point where he was like, I mean, why even, like, worry about, like, your sexual identity. Just, like, have sex with who you want to have sex with and, like, be attracted to whoever you want and, like, live your life.
Thank you so much, Andre.
I was like, you're, like, literally a prince.
Okay. So then it's between fucking... So we got Kevin Kwan and Henry James. Yikes. I just think I would probably have to kill Kevin Kwan just because I know him less. Like, just because, like, I've spent a lot more time with Henry James. But, like, I really have no interest in sleeping with Henry James. And nor do I really think Henry James has much interest in sleeping with me. I feel like it'd be really
prolonged if his writing is any, like, indication.
Yikes. It would be confusing and rambly. And, like, not much interest on, like, the form. Yeah, I don't...
Wouldn't be very focused in terms of plot.
Oh my god. Yeah, yikes. I don't know. I feel like maybe I should go back, but...
I'm, like, not willing... Yeah, so that's my dilemma, is that, like, I'm not willing to change from Andre Aciman as a definite Mary. Because I just think, like, what a happy
And I just
life.
also think that Oscar Wilde would be the most fun best friend. Like, I think that Henry James...
obviously. So it's like you take one for the team with your fuck.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Because it's a one-time thing. You know?
Yeah, I think I might go with Kevin Kwan, because it's like he has this, like, interesting history of, like, interior design and, like, I don't know, maybe he's, like, pretty particular.
At least on your one-night stand, you would, like, get to see his home. So, like, that may be worth it. Whereas Henry James probably has
like,
nothing.
Would drink fancy
Henry
wine.
Henry James just has dusty combs and, like...
He's, like, judgmental of you.
Although, you know what, though? Henry James definitely, like, would have, like, a pretty nice drink for me, probably, at his home.
I think Kevin
Kwan would have, like, a really, like, decadent, bougie drink. Like, Henry James would have, like, an old, like, 200-year bottle of whiskey.
Whereas, but I feel like Henry James would be, like, observing you and, like, trying to, like, narrate you as, like, a ingenue, like, a la Daisy Miller, whereas, like, Kevin Kwan would be like, let's get down to business.
I mean, is Kevin Kwan straight? Like, I don't know about that either. Whatever, it doesn't matter. I mean, it's, we just have read very few male authors. We have very limited choice.
But I feel good about the marriage to Andre Aciman.
Yeah, I mean, we're, like, the luckiest girls in the world, for sure.
We would be women of no country, because we'd just be living, like, free spirit. Like, maybe sometimes we would, like, go and, like, spend time in Italy, and, like, other times, and he would, like, talk to us about Swan's Way in, like, a non-douchey way. It would be
We'd eat peaches lovely. All the time.
I guess apparently a lot of people have been giving, Armie Hammer's doing a play right now in New York, and a lot of people have been giving him peaches.
That's disgusting. You guys are disgusting.
And he's like, oh.
I mean, what a scene.
Yeah. Andre Aciman thanked us all for not asking about it in the Q&A. He's like, you guys were all a very polite audience. Thank you for not asking me about the peaches.
What do you even ask?
I don't know, like...
How'd you come up with that?
What's up with that? I mean, some people wearing pins that had peaches on them, but... Which I enjoyed that, but...
I want a little peach pin.
Yeah, very adorable.
What'd you give this on Goodreads?
I think a 3. But, like, this, unlike my usual, I think this, to me, is, like, a solid 3.
It's not a 3.5. Yeah, no, it's a 3.
No.
Yeah, I agree with you.
It's a 3.
Yeah.
Where it was, like, not like I was ever annoyed to be reading. I think I definitely enjoyed the first half a lot more. But I was just kind of like, oh.
Yeah, I mean, it's... Yeah, I felt actually very similarly about the other Jacqueline Susan book that I read. The Love Machine.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's a really similar storyline. Like, it also tells the story of, like, 3 rich, like, women in Hollywood and, like, their trajectories. And one of them also is like a sleeping pill addict. So that must have been the jam. I mean, like, I have been taking melatonin lately, so now I feel like every time I take it, I'm like, God, you, my little doll, take me to bed. But my probiotic, I'm like, oh, you little diet pill.
I like that on the back of my copy, it says, it's a quote from Jacqueline Susan that was like, the 60s will be remembered for Andy Warhol, something, and me. I appreciate that confidence, Jacqueline. Like,
Jacqueline,
go you.
I think would have been a fun gal.
Yeah. I feel like she would have been, like, one of those people that, like, I don't know that she has a lot of, like, empathy for, or, like, sympathy for Neely, Anne, and Jennifer. Like, I feel like she would have been like, well, these whores taking pills. I mean, that's what they were doing. They're a product of society. What are you going to do? Lie?
Jacqueline Susan just, like, strikes me as somebody who would have, like, been BFFs with Truman Capote.
Yeah.
Like, they're just, like, talking shit about everyone.
Saying things that are not appropriate.
But also just, like, talk shit about all their friends.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. What's our next book? You picked it. I have not purchased it yet.
Oh.
Is it written by a man?
Oh.
Okay.
Nope.
Well, sorry.
Our next book is To All the Boys I've Loved Before. It is a YA choice. A lot of you will recognize this as the Netflix rom-com that is currently sweeping the nation. That I have, I'm not kidding you, seen at least 4 times.
It's on Netflix? Have you read the book yet?
Yeah. I've started it. Like, I'm like, I don't even know how many pages in, but I've started it. Which, like, it's different, so I think it'll be interesting to talk about. But, like, I'm excited about... So, the movie is... I'm, like...
There's a movie or a show?
I have a sickness. It's a movie on Netflix. It's a rom-com. And I'm obsessed with it. It's the high school rom-com that we've all been waiting for and we all deserve. And it's just, like, it's very sweet. And I think it's so important that girls, especially in high school, get good examples of what nice, good guys look like.
There are so few
because I think we get so... Yeah, and I think we get so many examples of... I mean, even thinking about, like, Gilmore Girls, like, Dean is positioned to us as a good boyfriend in the early seasons, and I think he's kind of abusive. And, like, I was obsessed with Edward Cullen when I was 15, and he was certainly abusive. And so I think teenage girls, because we're dramatic, or I'm not a teenage girl anymore, but I was a dramatic teenage girl.
And I am a dramatic, 26-year-old
woman. We tend to confuse love and passion with obsession. And so I think the movie and, like, the book so far is a little bit different. And, like, I'm interested to talk about it because since it's a first-person narration, there's definitely, like, an Elizabeth Mr. Darcy thing going on in the sense that, like, in the movie, it's almost immediately clear that Peter Kavinsky is a perfect angel sent from heaven. And just, like, literally there were moments where I leaned forward with my mouth open just, like, because I couldn't believe what a delight he was. And, like, how sweet and, like, good he was. And in this, like, it's not as immediately clear because it's mostly through her perspective. But I think it's just nice to see, like, it's not that he's not flawed and it's not that he is boring or lame. It's just that he is a genuinely, like, good guy. And it's very sweet.
Well, I'm looking forward to it.
And thank you for listening to me ramble about it. Because I'm
sorry.
Oh,
that's
It just really, like, it presses all the buttons that, like, when we left Crazy Rich Asians and then we watched this, like, a little while later, it was like, yeah, I mean, I feel like they're really making my movies again.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to it. Oh, should we watch Valley of the Dolls too?
Ooh, I don't know. I heard the movie's
Probably
awful.
is awful, but I mean, I also am just, like, kind of interested to see Sharon Tate in action, but I don't know. I also think I would have to purchase it on iTunes, and I'm not sure if I'm willing to spend money on it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of how I feel. But I'm also excited. We haven't done a YA book in a while. Like, the last one we did was A Wrinkle in Time. So I feel like this will be a good one. Especially after Valley of the Dolls, I think it'll be nice to talk about, like, a sweet teen romance.
Yeah, like, renew hope and, you know, institutions of love.
Yeah, because this was a bummer of a book. And also, I think we tend to get more, not that this is, like, how we always choose our books, but I think when people have a framework of what the book, even if they haven't read the book, but they have a framework of the book, they tend to listen more.
Like, if they, like, have an idea of what the story is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right.
But yeah, I mean, like, just to give you a little anecdote about the actor that plays Peter Kavinsky.
Is Peter Kavinsky the actor's name or the...
No, he's the character. The actor's name is Noah something. But, like, the actress that's the lead in the movie was like, yeah, I mean, like, it's just, like, it makes me happy to hear, like, that everyone, like, loves him and stuff because he's a really good guy in real life, too. Like, when we were filming, I got really bad news and I was really upset, and I knew Noah was at dinner, and so I texted him and was like, hey, can you just come over to my room when you're done with dinner, because I got, like, really bad news and I'm upset and I don't want to be alone. She didn't share that. In my head, someone died. And he was like, I'm getting the bill right now, and, like, got the bill and, like, FaceTimed her as he was sprinting back to her apartment, and like ran into her room and, like, picked her up and, like, you know, like, just held her close and cleaned her apartment. Which I was like, what an angel. Like, she's like, yeah, he really deserves, like, all this, like, good attention that he's getting. And I'm
you
like,
definitely had me and cleaned her apartment.
Yeah, like, what a simple, sweet thing.
Well, I can't wait to hear about your first day of school.
I'm excited. I'm nervous, but I'm excited.
I think it's going to be great.
It hasn't fully hit me that that's, like, what's happening tomorrow.
Do you know what you're going to wear?
I'm supposed to wear blue, but I don't know exactly what I'm going to wear.
Is like that spirit color or something?
Yeah, it's like every grade has a color.
Class color.
And it's the senior color. Yeah, the class color for the seniors is blue. And I guess it's like a whole thing to wear blue on the first day.
All right. Well, so not next week, but the week after?
Yeah, I think that sounds good, especially as we settle into, like, you settle into law school and I'm settling into my teaching job. We've got a lot to do. So, yeah, let's maybe shoot to do, like, every other week.
That's reasonable and doable.
Yeah, and I doubt that any of our listeners are going to be like, what?
We hate you
guys. Basically been doing that all summer, too.
We have been doing that. We're the worst. Well, or we're the best.
We're also busy.
Yeah. You know what? We have responsibility.
We got stuff going on.
All right.
So, all right. Well, thanks for listening. We'll be back
in a few,
in
a fortnight.
You know, whatever.
Okay.
Don't worry about it.
All right. Bye.
Bye.